All right, a beautiful morning. Welcome to Women's Corner with me, Rose Blossom. Of course, remember the program runs from 11 a.m. to 12 noon every Monday through Friday. You can join us here. We talk about everything that has to do with a woman. We try to encourage ourselves. We talk about our day-to-day life, and of course, we bring people that have gone through some experiences whereby when they share their experience, you get to learn from. Just like yesterday, we had cancer awareness, and of course we had two survivors in the house to share their story and teach women on how to go about their day-to-day life, and also to tell them that their health is very important. Today we're talking about joint account in marriage. When I said this to my guests were so interested. They were like, oh wow, I love this. And when I told the previous guest yesterday, like, tomorrow we're talking about joint accounting, I was like, oh, why not? Why didn't you bring me on set for tomorrow? I'm like, no, we already have guests to talk about joint accounts. A lot of women don't buy into that idea, and a lot of men too are becoming like they don't want to buy the idea also. But we have guests here. We have amazing people who are also experts in finances to actually talk about this and see if it's a good idea or it's a bad idea. But anyway, that's not for me. Tomorrow definitely we'll be talking about something else. So let's go on a short break, and when I come back, I will introduce my guest, and of course I'll tell you how you can watch us aside not having a TV set beside you. We'll be right back after the short break. Okay, all right, welcome back. And for those who are joining us, like I said, if you don't have a TV set beside you, you can actually watch us on our Facebook and our Twitter at Galaxy Television. Just type in, and of course you can join us live. Also, we have our app on Galaxy Television app on Google Play Store and Apple Play Store, so you can actually just download the app and watch us live. And yes, I'll just start by introducing my live-in guest. For her to, introduce herself. Let me introduce her better. Her name is Adebisi Atewologun. Did I get that right? Yes. She's a speaker and author. She's a financial literacy teacher, and she's a retirement planner for individuals and corporate organization. It's good to have you on the show. Welcome. Good morning. Okay, yes, and I also have my guests already sitting pretty where they are, so I'm just going to introduce them. Let me start with Sarah. Sarah Funmi Adebusuyi is a social entrepreneur. She's a speaker, she's a creative writer, she's an author, and also the founder of Limitless Army. Can we have Sarah Funmi Adebusuyi on the screen? Let's put a face to the name. Okay. Good morning. Please, can we have Sarah? I can only hear her voice. Let me introduce our third guest, which is Omoyemi Becky Olatunji. She is the founder of Bold Life Dynamics. She's a sexuality coach. She's an author, an advocate, and associate for family life practitioner from Institute of Family Life Engineer, Nigeria. It's good to have you, Becky. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining. Actually, thank you very much. So that is one of our Zoom guests right there. And also we have Sarah Funmi. Is Sarah Funmi ready? So we can have her too on the screen. And Becky at the same time. Let's get to see our two Zoom guests, please. It's very important. Okay, since we don't have that yet, let's just go on. So yes, I'm going to start from our Zoom guest, because I'm going to start with you. I'll start with my in-house guest. I'll start with you, Adebisi. Now, the first thing is, you're obviously a financial literacy teacher, so you understand what finances is, and there's this thing of women will say, my money is my money, and the man's money is our money. So when a lot of women hear joint accounts, they find it very difficult to be able to key into, let's have an account together. In fact, I've heard some couples want to have an account together, but by the time they go into the accounting and find out who has been depositing money more, they find out that it's the men. So I just want to know, why do you think women have this, reservation of, I don't want to spend my money, I want to spend his money. Why do you think that is?
Okay, I think generally people believe that their money, for women, their money is their money, and the man's money belongs to everybody. get them. But the reality is that money in marriage is not about who brings in what, but about the objective of the marriage itself. So many times people are in the marriage and because they're on the journey, whereby people still have their weaknesses, which include finances as well. There's a reservation as to why they should let down their guards and just pull in all of their resources in the name of joint accounts. So it's actually a sensitive issue, and I wouldn't say it is wrong or that it is right for people to have joint accounts, but I would say that you should know your purpose, you should understand what you're aiming for, the long-term vision that you have, and to understand who your partner is. Because a lot of times when you don't understand your partner, you're not earned their trust. It's very difficult, especially when you're in that relationship without a foundation of trust between the both of you. So yes, a lot of people have issues, and it's okay to have issues. But the thing is, are you going to continue like that for life? Or at what point would you begin to let down your guard and begin to think about how to bring your resources together? You know, that for me is the real deal, because if you're in the marriage for the lifetime, the time will come where you still have to begin to look at having a joint account. Initially, you might have issues, especially for people that didn't start out that way, but then you have to build a system that will help you get to that point. Otherwise, both of you might start growing apart. And once you start having issues with this secret money that you're keeping somewhere. And all of those things, it has a way of coming back to work against, you know, the good intention that you have. So it's better to complain and come up with the modalities whereby you'll be able to say that, okay, can we start with a project? And on this project, we're going to be contributing this sum, and you contribute that sum, and then both of us, you know, gradually find our way to that place. Or are we going to have to find a way around it? But if you're saying no, you're not going to do it, well, at some point you might have some issues. So you might as well start looking at how to start that journey in an objective way without you feeling bad that you're putting some things aside.
That's fine. Okay, that's beautiful. I hope a lot of ladies are getting to understand that part. I'm going to ask Sarah. Now, Sarah, the first question I asked you, do you actually have a joint account with your husband? That's the first thing that we asked one. So we know where we're starting from. And if you do, why do you think you started the account with him? And if you don't, please share why you believe that you don't want to have a joint account. Please, Sarah. I'm putting you on the hot seat. Sarah, please, can you answer that question?
Okay, good morning once again. Currently, I do not have a joint account with my husband, and why is because we've tried to make it work, but it has not worked. We are a year and 2 months in marriage, and trying to, get to put this together. So one thing that we came to realize is that we are two alpha people who has grown to, manage their finances by themselves, do their things on their own, and my husband grew up mentality of a man takes all responsibility in the house and all of that. It was also between us. We were like, can't you just report on all that that comes into your account so that we will always, but it feels like giving out report of how every 1K, every 2K, every 3K enters is kind of stressful for him because of the nature of his business and all of that. So he had to come to the place of, when you have your account, my account, when we just to do together, this is what you have, and then that's what we have resolved at the moment. I don't know, probably in the future, if we are still going to consider different accounts, but maybe now the future will talk about that. But because of our individual personality and how we grew up, we are two alpha people who has learned their stuff by themselves, and so we are still trying to come together in managing our business finances basically.
Thank you very much for that one. I like what you said. In the future, probably you could have a joint account, but for now, it's better to be on the safe side. I like that. Okay, so I'm going to ask Omoyemi Becky the same question, which is, do you have a joint account with your husband? If you don't, why? If you do, what was the ginger to say, yes, I want to create an account with my husband? And so far, so good. How has it been beneficial, of benefits to you? Can we have Becky answer that, please?
Oh, thank you very much. Presently, we don't have a joint account, and as a result of my practice, I believe having joint account goes beyond just coming together. Let's have a joint account. It has to do with individual beliefs and individual values, and your beliefs are formed as a result of your upbringing, your background, and also as a result of the significant life experiences which you have had in the past. Me, one, as a result of my experiences and the person I grew up with, I can be very prudent when it comes to spending, and financially, my financial literacy between me and my partner is actually better. So we never discussed that. So joint account, having joint account or not having is one of the discussion a couple, intended couple supposed to have before they get married. Yeah, because it can bring conflict. It can bring this belief of money is our money, my money is my money. It's a belief that can destroy a relationship. So what is an individual belief? What do you believe about the family expenses, the family finances, your individual finances, all that before you start thinking of joint? So we actually don't have a joint account, but when we want to do something that has to do with the family, we talk about it, and so we bring our contribution, because in our own home, in our home, we believe 100%. We believe in 100% responsibility. So that's how we've been running it for some while now. That's how we've been. So we actually don't have a joint account. But that does not mean that it doesn't work. It actually work. It does depend on individuality and how your marriage is, the kind of marriage you have, and how necessary you think it is.
It is. Okay. Thank you very much. Now, everybody has said how it works for he or she. And for me, I believe in joint accounts. What brings me to the question, before me believing in joint account, please, who is going to be, let me ask, adding to this one, who is going to be the primary account holder? Because we need to know that part. It's very important. Who's going to be the primary account holder? And also, while having a joint account, do you also believe that they can still have their separate accounts while they have a family joint account together? Do you believe that?
Yes, I believe that, because as an individual, through that you're still maintaining the independence that you have as an individual. You should, it's not, the fact that you have joint account doesn't mean that you cannot maintain your individuality. Like there's certain things that you can use discretion to spend money on, right? Especially when it's both parties that are earning money. Even the person that is not earning money actively, the person will still have some needs that they want to, cure. So that way, whoever is earning money in that particular family should allow the person to spend some part of the money using her own discretion to spend it the way you like. Because as adults, there is a need for you to exercise that true freedom that, okay, I'm free to be myself. But that doesn't mean that you should not have a joint account, or that you should have a joint account. The reason why I'm advocating for couples to have joint account is that you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, right? Many things happen. We have people slump into, you don't know when time will come and something will happen and the person is no more. If it happens that way, it's very difficult for the other person
To pick up.
Because they don't have access to what their partner does have. And believe me, you know that in marriage, you're the partner that feels the brunt the most when things happen. But it is good. Like in my own marriage, we have our separate accounts and we have joint accounts that we run. And because of that, even in our separate accounts, we have an understanding that, okay, if you need money, I can always provide. I can always add these. We can always help each other. But that's conditions that will ensure that you don't sink the ship, right? Because the team is as strong as its weakest link.
Yeah.
So it's important that you don't, in the name of running a joint account, allow the person who doesn't have the prudence to withhold or control themselves to be in charge of running the
Right.
finance. Some people will say, no, I'm the man,
I have to be in
I have
charge.
to be in charge.
But you spend more.
The spend also, so what we advocate for is that allow the person that is more prudent to handle the family finance, as in the joint account, the project
okay.
account.
Okay.
Try to be accountable to
Or whatever that
for
comes in.
whatever that comes in. But if you want to go the route of it's my money, it's your money, over time it affects the raw objective of the marriage, and those marriages tend to suffer in the long run.
Okay, so now to the question I asked you,
Yeah.
your answer is whoever is more prudent in spending should be the primary holder of the
Yes.
account. Okay, that's good. Well, I don't know. There's always a way around it where the person is no more. There's a way you can always
No, in
hand.
that case, I think you have to do what I call the either to sign basis. Both of you can access the account.
Okay.
But one person can be receiving the telephone alert, the other person can be receiving
Email?
the email alert.
Okay.
When I first got married, in our early years in marriage, we started this joint account thing, and because we believe that we should be able to be transparent in all areas of our lives. And the first money we put into the account, I was the one that went to withdraw the money because I had this urge to just spend money. By the time I withdrew the money, my husband received the alert and was like, why? Why did you spend it? By thought we agreed to spend
it,
on
yeah.
this. That was when it occurred to me, but I had to submit myself that, okay, I'll be accountable. Whatever we label this money to be, that's what we're going to spend it on. And that's why, over time, I have had to earn my husband's trust.
Okay, so you're still the primary account holder.
Yes, I'm the
And
primary
your husband
account
is
holder.
strong. Oh, after
Yes.
withdrawing the first batch of money.
That's what I'm saying. That sometimes
Yeah.
when you start doing these things, you expect some form of default.
Default.
Right? So that's why you have to do it gradually and get the person to understand this is what we want to do it for. So even when you do the wrong thing, be humble enough to admit it that, okay, I'm sorry, I will be more careful next time. So over time, both of us have now come to understand that, okay, we earmark this money for this. This is what we're going to use it for. So what I'm trying to say is that it's a journey. So if you have this in mind and you're like, I don't trust this person, but I know that the benefits are so much, well, you're not alone. It's okay, but understand that once you start, gradually
people will start.
trust.
Okay, so thank you very much for that response. So I'm going to ask Sarah. Now, there's just I'll try to make it short as possible. We have like two stories when it comes to joint accounts that resulted into marriage failure. Now, the first story, which I want to know your reactions to that. Now, we have a couple, and of course, they were supposed to have a joint account, but while the man was still the breadwinner, he was always, how would I put it? He was more. According to the wife, I can't say too disciplined. He was a bit too self-centered because it was bringing more of the money. Let me use that. So the woman can access the money, and sometimes when there's something important they need to do, he will still believe that they should wait. They shouldn't touch that one. But eventually, the way the money went, it was not something she could really place her hand on because she was not following through the money. She didn't know the alert, but she just know the husband expects that money should be dropped in there every month from her and from him. So the coin definitely turned around. She became someone that had her money. She had her businesses, so she did her own account and all of that. And before you know it, she was able. This is a very long time thing. She was able to build the house, rent it out to people. So it came crumbling on the man's side when the man had nothing. Now, there was no joint accounts. Even his own account is bleeding blood, obviously. So then it was a thought for the wife to do something because she, on the other hand, is on the better side now. And it got to the housing thing. Okay, let's get a house. But eventually, cut the long story short, where they moved into was the wife's house. And the man has to pay the house rent. She can do every other thing, but she was so adamant that you have to pay the rent. I will do everything, the school fee, I will do everything, but this house rent you must pay. And the husband does not know who is paying the house rent to is his wife. but there's a caretaker. So he does not deal with the wife directly, deals with the caretaker. So eventually the thing came out and she explained why everything went down like that. Now my question to Sarah is, in this situation, what would be your advice? Because you see, I don't know, if I don't even know what to tell the woman, I don't even know what to tell the man. I would say yes, the man has messed up initially, but I think the woman took it as, in fact, let me know, I'm not the one to react. Just what's your reaction, Sarah, about this person's life story?
I love the question because you see, sometimes men, they feel like there are things that they feel like they are doing the right thing sometimes, and these things are just out of people. And when we turn the table around, we can actually handle it. If we play our part to them, they can handle it. So one thing, my advice would have been that she was opting, and her decision was for the response. I was the inability for her to be able to access the account, which actually start up to be able to stand up and do things which is the right thing to do.
Okay, yes, we're going to move on with what we're talking about. We're talking about a reaction to the story I said. So please go ahead, but make it quite short because of our time. Sarah, over to you.
As of what he did before, she decided not to tell him so she could get her money back and all of that. But she could have just opened up to him that this house is my own place. She already proved the point. She's on her age already. The point has already been. She doesn't have to go through that process of collecting the rent back, and there's nothing eating. Especially when he's married, everything will eventually come out. So there's no point just trying to like all over, and no, it's not going to go. It will only cause you more issues in the future, because obviously the issue eventually came out. He got to know the man was going to feel disappointed and all of that. We might even say they should break up the marriage and all of that, but if she had just come out straight, this is my house. There's no other point. It's a house. It's not a house. What you want, but you want to have things right. So you can't just stay on the house. So there's no point to start collecting rent from him all over him. So that's my advice.
That's your take. Okay, thank you very much for that one. While reading the comments on the lady's story and her post, a lot of people were like, yes, serves him right. Well, yeah, definitely the man wants a break. He does not want to continue with the marriage and all of that. But people were like, no, you did the right thing. Yes, continue with that. Start teaching them how to understand. And at the long run, some were like, if you tell him that's your house, eventually he will take the ownership of the house. If you're not careful, a man that treated you like this when you had nothing, he might in turn, when you now have, he will now turn it over to his own. We have plenty of advisors on social media. So you just have to be careful the one you go with. So I'm going to ask Becky another question. It has to do with joint account too. Now, obviously, we know that when people want to travel out, you have to have an account where you have a lot of money. That is another kind of guarantee whereby you can travel. Now they have a joint account. So the lady was traveling based on schooling. It was a school travel. So she needed an account. They agreed, okay, let's use our joint account. Now that joint account will no longer be a joint account. It will be your account, so that you could go. So when you go, you make findings, you settle and everything. You can bring me over and bring the kids over. That was the plan. So she got there, school, after school, she was making the money, the cash and everything. She was sending the money home, and the husband was always disturbing. Oh yeah, now, like, do this plan, let me come, do this plan, let the children come. And she was like, just hold on, I'm still trying to put things in place. Yes, she was hustling, she was making the money. The man was not in charge of the accounts anymore. She had a lot of money because, of course, the economy is quite different. Now, all of a sudden, she decided to visit. After years, I think maybe 3 to 4 years thereabout, she was planning to come back to surprise the husband, and her coming back was she was going to take the husband together with the kids. So on getting to Nigeria, when she got to the house, she found that the man has married another wife. Then her children were still her children, but the new wife has our own kids too already. So that makes it 5 children. She has 3, the new wife has 2 children already, making 5. and she was asking questions. What can she do now? Is she going to divorce the man, take her kids and travel? Or what will she do? Yes, she knows she traveled with the joint account, the money in the joint account, what they putting together. What advice at this point now? She needs an advice. But at the same time, let's also react from the man angle. Like, there are some stories online where you see on social media, you wonder, like, how do these things just happen? I don't know if Becky's still there. Becky's still there. Let her react to this story.
Yeah.
Do we still have Becky?
Okay.
Yes, Becky, please. What's your reaction to this story? And what do you think the man should do?
Yeah, I can't say this is what the woman should do. This is what the. But what I'm just saying, into marriage with selfish. Now, when we talk about joint account, why do we take joint account? What is the motive behind having joint account? That I'm not having joint account now does not mean that I don't believe it. I don't want to believe in having your spouse. Why? Because it's a way of you having run the family financial goals together. So before one get married, one of the things we need to talk about, aside from have you eaten, what do you like, what color of clothes do you like, what kind of wedding do you like, people need to sit down and learn what is our future as a family. Now, if you have a future as a family, you need to have a family vision, you need to have a family mission, you need to have a family value. And now, when you're having joint accounts, one of the family values to be transparency. You need to be transparent with you. And you need to talk. Now, when you initially you ask who should be in charge of the account, definitely the person who is prudent should be in charge of the account. But that doesn't mean that the other person should not know what is going on with the account. Now, if the other person knows what is going on with the account, what is going out of the account, and what's going in, to be able to hold each other accountable to it. Now, coming down to this couple that you talked about, David went with the joint account. Yes, that's the mission. That's one of the ways to have joint account, to save for the financial goals of the family. And now at that point, the financial goals of the family is for the woman to travel out. And that joint account was able to meet that goal. And then she is sent back whatsoever. So whatever must have happened between she and her spouse, I think it's just a different communication. I think there's something wrong with it. And there's something wrong with transparency and trust. So right now, as a practitioner, I'm not going to tell the lady, carry your kids and go. It's just a matter of both of them sitting down, the husband and the wife, try to find out what went wrong. Okay, going forward, what are we going to do? That's just it. So, but I want to react to what the first question you asked initially. This is my own.
Yeah.
When I first got, I grew up with this with an uncle that taught me financial prudence. He's this kind of person that when you give him money now, if you want to come to collect money again from him, you need to come with a list of what you did with the last money that you did. So he taught me how to keep account of every of my spending. So, and that habit was with me, even if it's with me till now, since 2013 till now. If you ask me a day, what did I spend in a day? I will tell you. If you ask me how much I spent in a year, I'm going to tell you. How much came in a year, I'm going to tell you. I have that account. And then when I go married, if you ask me, the market you go every month, how much do you take to market? What do you buy? What are the things you go to market? I have a book that is there. So this is me. This is my own views. This is my own upbringing. And this is the person I now go married to a man that believes in, what the money comes with, you spend. You have no, you don't even think, and I'm just saying I can stretch money. Okay, I know this is what I have in a month. How am I going to spend it in the next 1 month? I will manage it to the end of the month. But he's this kind of person that he believes tomorrow is going to take care of itself. When the money comes, he will spend now. So imagine you are having a joint account with that kind of a person, and the money comes in, and both of you have access to that fund. Just imagine what's going to happen to that money. So when you understand your weakness, okay, this is me. And unfortunately, many of our men, African men, they don't want to accept that I need to submit, because you know when you talk about submission, you feel like it's the woman that needs to submit to you. The submission is both ways. Men too need to submit in that expert in that area. So when you're talking about this joint account of a thing, the one who is prudent should actually talk out about how we are going to manage this one. And the one who is less prudent should submit to the expert of this one that is prudent. So that's it about joint marriage. That's what I want to talk about concerning that first question you asked. Thank you, and I believe I've done justice to the other question.
Yes, you have. You have. Thank you very much for that one. So, you know, it's amazing how everyone has a very different perspective to this joint account thing. And I hope we all know that I believe it's very right to have a joint account. But like you said, communication is key. And sometimes, you know, I'm going to react from the man angle. Sometimes, despite you sitting down with that man to talk about it, I still believe most of the times we still need to have self-control as human beings. Sometimes communication cannot do everything. No matter how much you communicate, does the person understand? Can the person control? Can the person hold on? It's very difficult to hold on and be patient. It's very difficult. And it's a virtue. So I like it when people say communication, but I can be communicating with you. You understand exactly what I'm saying, but you don't have the patience. You don't have the control. I'm sorry. Exactly, the discipline. I'm sorry. Whatever communication you give to the person will not get it. Even if he gets it, he can't help it. He just has to do what he has to do, and she has to do what she has to do. So it's on both parties. It's not just one person thing. So I like that one. So I want to ask you, you as an expert in finances, just generally, what advice will you give to people, especially for those that still believe I don't want to have a joint account? How do you think they can still manage an account that will still help their family? Or if you so much believe that joint account is a thing of necessity, in just 1 minute, please tell them how they can go about this before we wrap up the show.
Okay, thank you very much, Blossom. It's very important for people to have joint accounts in marriage, because most of you will be able to learn to be accountable to yourselves. And as you grow older, sometimes the weight might shift from one person to the other person. One person might be earning more today, the other might be earning less tomorrow. That way, both of you are able to balance out your finances. But if just you that is running the accounts, and you don't have any way that you're accountable to your partner, when the tides turn, there'll be a lot of issues in the marriage, because there'll be this gap, and that gap is what we don't want. Either while you're still young, or whether when you're still in your old age. What I recommend is that it is important that you have your objective, just like Becky said. You should have a vision and have a goal, and be willing to have that discipline, to admit where it is that you have the strength and where it is that you don't have the strength. And if you're earning so much, please respect your partner. Have respect, because if you don't have respect, it's gonna work against you in the long run, because you lose that person that you love. And what's as bad as you spending your old age alone because you mistreated somebody, so because everybody does not have the grace of forgiving their partner. So please start from somewhere. Start from a particular project. Start working together towards it, and then see how both of you are able to learn. Despite the fact that you have your individual accounts, then grow gradually in that way, from that particular project to a bigger project, to another project, to a couple of projects, until you're now on the same page. But understand each other's view. The fact that you're right doesn't mean that the other person is wrong. Both of you can be right at the same time.
Yeah.
But you just need to say, okay, which one are we going to go for now, without making the other person feel less of themselves.
Thank you very much for that one. At this point, because of our time, I want to appreciate my two Zoom guests that were sitting, waiting for me to introduce them in, even despite the fact that we had just a little challenge. Can we have Sarah Fumi and Omoyemi Becky on the screen while I appreciate them and see if they have final words for us? Okay, Sarah Fumi, yes. We have Sarah Fumi Adebusui, who is a social entrepreneur, a speaker, a creative writer, and other founder of Limitless Army. And also next to her is Omoyemi Becky Alatunji. She's the founder of Bold Life Dynamics, a sexuality coach, author, advocate, associate, a family life practitioner, from the Institute of Family Life Engineering, Nigeria. Thank you so much of you for joining our interview today. I hope you enjoyed yourself on the show.
Yes, I did. I really did enjoy myself. Thank you so much for having me once again.
Thank you for having me too.
Thank you so much. Our usual ritual, please don't flag them away. Our usual ritual is I like to take a wave of goodbye while we let our guests go, because we're practically telling our viewers goodbye too. Can we have both of them on the screen, please, so they could wave us a goodbye? Thank you. Can you wave us goodbye, Becky and Sarah? Thank you very, very much. I love, what people don't understand. People don't understand why people don't understand why I always like to get that wave. No matter how serious our discussion is, whenever it's time to wave goodbye, once they raise their hands up, there's a smile that comes with it. And that is what I want to wrap up the show with. Okay.